Hello, beautiful and handsome world changers. Welcome back to the Nomad CEO Podcast. I'm Kenz, your host, and today I am so pumped to talk to this beautiful woman, Emily Rosales. She is someone you want to listen to. If you're building a business, you're building a brand, she is someone that is going to provide so much value to you today and understanding how to strategize your brand because she's a brand strategy coach. So Emily, she is the founder of SimplyMe Coaching. Now, after a hard season herself that pushed her to rebuild from the inside out, she started helping purpose-driven entrepreneurs to turn that confusion that they had into a clear message so that they can show up with confidence, connect with the right people, and grow a brand that actually feels like them. So Emily, I'm so glad to have you on the podcast. Welcome,
Hey,
welcome.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yay. Okay, I have so many questions for you, especially
Yeah,
on a personal level, because a year ago, this was like uncharted territory. I'm like, a brand? How would you brand yourself? Like that was such a new concept to me. I'm like, brands of things I buy at the store. But what's so brilliant about that, and I'm so excited to learn from you today, is really from what I know now or what I'm learning is everyone's branding themselves, whether they know it or not. So
hmm
you just teach people how to do that with intentionality and with a lot of clarity and so many things. So, anyways, diving right in, I just would love to learn, what that hard season was for you that pushed you to rebuild. Like, what was that experience like, and how did it shape your approach now to life and to business?
for sure. Yeah. Thank you for sharing all of that. That was beautiful. Yeah, personally, I feel like people will at least go through one tough challenge, like season in their life. And for me personally, it happened about like 4 years ago where I feel like it was kind of an identity crisis where, it was a difficult heartbreak. At that time, I was in mortgages. I was working as a loan officer and my whole world fell apart. And like basically overnight, what felt like it was overnight, but I mean, looking back, it kind of led me to that part. So that season was where I was like, I kind of made a promise to myself. I'm like, well, like what this was beyond me. Like what happened? And just being able to like pick up the pieces day by day, and like following this path where I was like in a crossroads and said, okay, I need to make a decision and I need to make it now. So that's when I decided to leave the mortgage industry and just kind of take a huge leap of faith into discovering what was next. And it was a whole journey, it's like a day by day building process.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's a huge leap that I feel like so many people probably romanticize about a lot. What would it
Right.
look like if I left what I know, right? To take that leap. And so could you share, because you've explained this so well, like the day you made that decision or the
Mhm.
week or just that immediate time of some of the thoughts and emotions that you had and just how you worked through that after you had decided to leave.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, honestly, in my story, I feel like I kind of was left with no option but to take that leap of faith, like having like weighing out the whole other, like going back into that my life at that moment, just it felt like I'm like I can't do this. Like it's unbearable for me to go back because at that time my partner and I, my boyfriend, we were kind of like we just had a lot of enmeshment with
Mm.
work and business with our personal and our professional lives, that it was like if I go back, like I'm gonna be still in that environment. It was just like there was no way. So it was when that breakup happened that I was like, I have to go a different direction. And the beauty was that like I've always had a really strong faith where I'm like, I know this is gonna be so difficult, but God, please be with me. Like I know I could feel in my gut instinct that I have to take another path.
Mm. Oh my gosh, that is so good, girl. Let's go. I'm so proud of you for doing that.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. That is
It's
incredible.
been the best decision I have ever. It's been the hardest, most
Mm.
challenging decision ever, but I wouldn't take it back for anything. Like
Mm.
because of what it's made of me, what it's brought out of me that I did never thought I had in me.
Mm. Oh, I feel that so deep. That's good.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
so
I'm sure you could relate as well.
yeah. Well, and I love what you said of like, there's essentially no going back. And, I can't go back to that. So therefore, I must go forward. So I'm curious, could you now share how you envisioned what forward looked like and what you saw at that time 4 years ago, and then maybe how that's transpired to so far today?
Right. Well, at that time, everything was so dark for me. Like it was like I can't see anything. Like there's nothing here, but I just trust. So it was kind of like actually the first few months after the breakup, after that separation, I went through like a depression. I was like, I couldn't like actually work for a few months. I was like, okay, like I'm pretty depressed. Like
Mm,
I don't know, who am I? I had created a whole identity out of this
mm,
whole, life. Yeah, I was, and I'm like, who am I? So just like asking for that guidance on a day by day basis, it wasn't until like almost like, probably like 7 or 8 months where I was like, okay, like I really need to get it together. What's next, God? Like I know, I mean, I thought about getting a job, looking for jobs at that time. And I'm like, but I just have such a strong like inclination to like start something of my own, but I don't know what. Like, what do I do? And then it was during that time when I was like kind of just looking into like what other type of businesses is there, what industries, options, kind of doing my own research
mm.
of figuring that out.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. You've started talking about this. This is really powerful. Is what in that rebuilding phase, what were some of the mindset shifts that helped you, right? Like you said, like I have no other option. I have to go forward. Like you shifted to the future. That really helped you continue to gain clarity as you took it day by day and prayed and leaned into that. Like what other shifts helped you?
Yeah. Well, the main mindset was just my such a strong belief in my faith where
Mm,
I leaned on like the word of God. Like I took it in, I absorbed it. I'm like, if this is really you, if you're saying like, you share in the Bible that you don't be afraid, don't be afraid. And it was just that was a huge because, I was going through a lot of like just suffering at that time but then it just gave me so much comfort, so
mm,
much like I was just consoled every single day, like I was nourished, so that kept me going.
that's so good. Oh my, I could probably say that on repeat. Okay, I have so many more questions of what you're doing now and getting to the brand strategy that you coached people through.
Right.
I do want to also look at more of where you came from, of how you grew up and your early life and how that influenced your faith, your purpose, and your identity, all today as well.
Yeah. I actually something I'm like really grateful for is the family
Mm,
that I was given, in this lifetime. I come from a Hispanic background. Both of my parents were born and raised in Mexico, so they immigrated here. I'm first generation here. So I
mm,
was basically born and raised here in SoCal.
mm,
And I mean that shaped so much. I have three brothers and I have one sister. So there's five of us and then there's my parents. So it was always that that foundation, like family's always at the core. No matter what happens, we have each other. So,
mm.
but I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, we had our differences. Like, it's a, traditional Mexican family. So we just say it how it is.
Oh, I
We
love
like, don't hold back.
it.
But I feel like that helped me a lot and like it influenced me in obviously staying strong and in times where, I ever felt like out of place or anything, I always had that anchor
Mm,
within me.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of my culture. My first language is Spanish. So yeah, and now, I mean, we actually after that, when I went through that tough time, we all went through it as a family. So, but fast forward to now, like we're closer than we've ever been. So I feel
Mm,
like sometimes you kind of have to have those challenges or conflict in order to, get those bonds back. And
mhm.
maybe at the moment it feels really hard and I don't want to go through that. I want to avoid it at all costs, but coming out of it, you're like, "Oh, that's what was supposed to bring me closer to them." Yeah.
Well said. Well
Yeah.
said. Yeah, oh man, I love that. I love that so much. I love a good a Hispanic family. I just have to say, it's like one of my favorite cultures. I'm like, man, like there's just an energy and a passion to it that it's hard to beat, you know?
I'm always curious to hear like, other cultures, how they perceive the, the
Yeah.
Hispanic. I'm always curious about it because, when you're in it, you're in it. So
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, I also just love the world and all different cultures, but I would say it's one of the cultures. I mean, I studied Spanish in school and I spent some time in Spanish speaking countries. And so I even nannied with a little different, but in Spain with a family there. Been to Mexico multiple times. Going to go there next week. Funny. I don't know. There's just like, I think it's the passion and the loyalty and the work ethic and you're a family. Like, I think that's something that I've really admired about the Hispanic culture is it's like, yeah, you may go through tough stuff, but you're in it together. And I'm being general, like there could probably be exceptions, but like that's what I've observed as a whole. And not every culture has that, you know? And so anyways, that's really cool. That's incredible.
Mhm.
Yeah. So could you now tell us more of what a brand strategy coach is, what a brand strategy coach does? Would love to hear.
Yeah. So just to give a little bit of context was when I first and foremost, when I discovered, I'm like, oh, like I saw advertisements about like start your own coaching business. And I'm like, what is this? Like that was at the time when I was looking for it. And that was like, I kind of fell like down a rabbit hole. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I fell in love with coaching, with the art of coaching, with just like everything that had to do with, the transformation that comes.
Mm,
So that was when, 3.5 years ago was when I dove deep into what coaching was, looking for the resources. It was Mind Valley where I got a lot of the courses, a lot of the education there. Like I dove so deep into it, and I met some incredible people in that space. So that's when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start. This is where I'm going, starting the business.
mm,
But and then it's like getting mentored into like, what's your niche? Who's your avatar? Who are you speaking to? So studying all of that, and getting deeper and deeper into like, okay, well, what type of coach am I going to be? Who am I going to serve? So a
mm,
lot of it had to do with my own origin story, my own background, that I'm like, oh, when I learned about brand strategy, I'm like, this is it. Like this is where I'm dialing in. I want to
mm,
help people with their message, with what they're, I mean, it's not only your message, it's actually having a formal like framework for your message. It's not, it's like you actually figure
mm,
out a whole plan behind what your business is and what your business stands for and who you're serving. Brand strategy is
mm,
basically just laying everything out about your business. It's
mm,
kind of like mapping it out, your blueprint, like what's your purpose, what's your mission, what are your values, what's your unique differentiation, what's your story.
mm.
So it's having all that structured so that when you're putting yourself out there, it's more effective.
Wow, yeah, that sounds like a great approach. One that, yeah, definitely didn't do beautifully. I'm still figuring out. And I'm curious actually on that, why do you think so many entrepreneurs struggle to clarify their message? Is it because they don't know what to ask themselves or they don't take the time to plan it out? Like,
Yeah.
why do you think that is?
Yeah, what I've noticed in my own like experience is that when you decide to start a business, you want to hit the road running. Like you're just kind of like, oh, you're going forward so much
Yeah.
and you're like, but then it's like sometimes you kind of have to step back and see the whole context, the whole
Mhm.
bigger picture. And a lot of people don't like forget to do that, or they're just in the feeling of just like wanting to drive that they kind of forget to get that whole foundation down.
Yes, I feel called. No, you're not. Yeah, it's so true. Like it's all gas, no brakes, so the wheels fall off, right?
Right, right.
It's like, no, I gotta go. But to that point, it's like, are you, going on the right road or driving the most effectively with all that
Exactly.
effort? So
Yeah.
yeah. So how do you, I guess, what is that process when you sit down with an entrepreneur and you're learning about their business? What are some questions that you ask them? Like you mentioned a few of like your values and all these things to help them, I guess, calm down and, do that work. Like what does that look like practically in like in a session with a
For
client?
sure. Yeah. No, well, I shaped it into a journey. It's kind of like,
Mhm.
okay, we're going to go on this journey together. And this does like, I don't target people that just want like quick fix. because
Mm,
it's just not a quick fix. I mean,
mhm,
you can do some, but if you want a strong foundation, it takes some time. And
mhm,
but this is for the long run. This is for your long-term opportunity. So I
mm,
usually will emphasize that. I'm always giving that metaphor of a house, like, hey, there's foundation under there. You don't see it, but it's there. And if you have a shaky foundation and an earthquake hits, so that's the same metaphor. You're going to go through the storm. So I usually will paint that as a journey. It's like, hey, we're first going to dial in, like the first month is going to dial in your foundation. Maybe if you have been in business, let's go rebrand. Let's revisit the basics.
mm,
So we're still going to go back again
mhm,
and like get it down again, and
mhm,
then have like a visibility strategy to move forward, and then
mm,
have like a how are you tracking your visibility.
mm. Ooh,
So
could
it's
you share
like,
that more? Like tracking that visibility? What does that look
yeah.
like?
So once you start putting content out there, once you start kind of sharing that message, the whole rebrand or the start of the brand, then it's like, okay, how are you tracking leads or people that are interested, that are coming in based on what content you're putting out there?
Mm,
How did it perform? How did, really seeing the engagement of it? Okay, what went well, what could be improved, and how to keep building on that content.
that makes a lot of sense. Do you
Mhm.
have, and this is, I just thought of this question actually, when someone's maybe they're just starting out and building their brand, and they're not established and they're figuring out which platform do I go to? Do you have any recommendations on helping people discern what the right place to start is in regards to that content?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with coaching where you kind of have to like get to know the business, get to
Mm,
know who they are, and based on who they are, where their audience is. That's the most important thing, is like making that bridge between who the business is and who the people they're serving. So
mm,
once you know where your people are hanging out at, then go there.
mhm.
Like for
Okay.
me, it's Instagram. Like a lot of my target audience is on Instagram. So
Mm,
that's my main platform. Like that's where I dial in. Yes, the other ones are like extensions of it,
mm.
but I just, a lot of my network is there.
That's fair. How do you
Mhm.
help people narrow down on that avatar and identify this is my demographic, psychographic, all those things. And when you're helping them do that, I'll say this. I when I first started, I was like, my message is for everybody. I know what I do is not for everybody. The programs not everyone's do that. That's really cool. But my message of everyone's a world changer is for everyone. But
Right,
I have had to go through this journey and I'm still on it of like, okay, now who's actually going to do this, right? Like, let me understand how they think more. So, and how they live and everything, so yeah, how do you help someone clarify
yeah.
that person?
Yeah, a lot of the insights come from the actual person's story.
Mm,
So, a lot of your personal story, your background is gonna help you understand who you're best meant to attract, best
mm,
meant to connect with. And that's why it makes sense to really understand your origin story, to like capture the patterns of your story, because that's what's going to help you bring those people in that resonate more than anything with. It's like, yeah, you can have people attracted to your vision, but are they really like invested in your vision?
mm,
Which
mm,
is really important. Like, for example, me, like what I learned through my own story and my own like experience was that invisibility, like I always felt invisible most of my life. I never felt seen. And that was a huge element of my background, was visibility. Like I just always felt overshadowed, overlooked. Like anything I did, it was never really appreciated. So that what helped me be like, oh, I'm sure there's more people out there that have felt overlooked, that
mm,
need to be seen, that are in business, but don't want to be loud, don't want to be, these loud marketers, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, they know they need to market, but they feel overlooked. So it's like, how do we help you be seen in a way that
mm.
feels right for you?
Wow. Wow. Okay. It's gotten the wheels turning up here, Emily. I love it. And something you said that stuck out too is like capture the patterns
Right.
and like hacking that, if you will. That makes a lot of sense. And
Mhm.
yeah, understanding yourself more so you can speak to that that person. Oh, that's good. So I guess in working with clients, what does it typically look like when someone's like, ah, this brand is actually starting to feel like me? Is it because they've done that inner work or self-reflection and the words match it? Or what are some other ways that people are like, oh man, hand in glove, my brand is the perfect representation of what I want it to be.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're doing the work, you're investing in building the brand. Like you shared, everybody has a brand, but are they actually actively intentionally building it? Are they really, do they have a strategy behind it? So, for example, like technically like a business owner that has been in business for like over 20 years, they've been doing business, but they have done most of their business like through referral, like through in person. They just have a solid core business, but they've never really explored or experimented with online presence, with, being seen online. So it's like, okay, you have a brand, you're known in your area, your people know you, what you do, but have you leveraged yourself a little more to be seen by more people on, the online space?
Hmm.
So it's like that's where we kind of like we translate that brand on to go online.
Mm, okay, that's really good. And I relate a lot with that because from a personal training perspective, that was my first job. Before I started building my own business full time, like through the years, whether I was working for someone else or like I never promoted myself for clients. People always came to me. Like pretty much they saw me working out and were like, oh, this chick looks like she knows what she's doing. And I was like, I would hope I would. But it wasn't like, I guess that was my quote unquote advertisement unknowingly. And now going online, it's like, oh man, I felt so clunky. It was like, this is so vulnerable. And I'm good being vulnerable, but this is like to me, it was like another level.
Right.
It was just,
It
you
is. Yeah.
know? Yeah. And so
Yeah.
a question for you on that, maybe a little more practical and in the application of putting yourself out there and, amplifying that. What are some strategies, techniques for entrepreneurs that to do that at scale, right? Of like creating content consistently, whether they're posting, I don't know, once a day or a few times a week or multiple times a day. What have you found to help them clarify that message continually in that content? Like keep
Mhm.
it clear and then hit different angles of it and stay authentic.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's why I love branding so much is because if you build a strong if you actually take time in building your foundation, that's what helps with your consistency, with, scaling yourself because you have a core, that kind of doesn't really waver too much. Like this, you already established your values, you already established your differentiation. Yes, your message is evolving and just like based on experiences, but you still have a core. You
Hmm.
still have that foundation. So that's the brand foundation. That is going through the process, having someone guide you, having someone like that is trained in it, like myself, to bring the specific message out, document it, and execute on it.
Hmm.
So it's like, technically the person can do it on their own, but if someone's actually like like coaching you through it, guiding you through it, eliciting what's most important, what is most, and that's where you get based on because you are the brand, so you're getting ideas from it. You're getting like, okay, I can talk about like these are pillars. These are a couple pillars that I can talk about.
Hmm.
So that's going through that process. Hmm.
That's so good. Wow. In that, you've mentioned this a little bit, but what are some other, I guess, common mistakes that people will make when trying to grow their brand without a coach and they
Hmm.
don't know what they're doing?
Right, right. Yeah.
And coaching, it sounds like can obviously help them avoid that.
Right.
And I mean, it makes sense in sports. People get sports. Like, yeah, you're not gonna have a professional team without a coach. Like, that's just goofy.
Right.
I don't think that's ever happened. I don't know, maybe it has, but probably not. And so if you want to get professional in any area, get a coach. But yeah, what are some of those common mistakes?
Yeah, it's so interesting how, right now I think it's like a process of familiarity because people are so familiar with the idea of like, yeah, let me get a coach for my sport. Like I know it's very important and very helpful, but when it comes to like business or like all that, they're kind of hesitant. And I feel like, I mean, coaching is an evolving process and it's going to be known more in the near future. Because
Mhm.
I mean, I went through that's how I got out of everything I went through because I was the student of how coaching transformed my life. So, that's why I'm so passionate about it because it's like people need this. They're just not aware of it so much as they are aware of it. Whereas if you get a coach for sports.
Mm,
But common mistakes, yeah, I mean, you're kind of going about it random, like you're trying to, it's kind of throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks. That is, efficiency wise, you're like, do you really feel like you should be doing this? Like, what's essential? Like, having a coach is going to help you pinpoint what is most essential to move the need, like pinpoint, like
mm,
bird's eye view to really know those tasks and those things that are going to move the needle. Whereas then
mm,
if you're doing it on your own, like you're doing it, but you're just kind of randomly putting it out there.
mm. Yeah. And another question on that in regards to visibility, and this is more practical than I do have one that's more emotional, if you will, but um, the visibility of, assessing the metrics. Like, let's just take Instagram as an example. That's your world. Like, do you sit down once a month with a client or even your own brand and go through and say, oh, these are the top performers? And like, is that part of the system on the back end to now like you're pumping it out and now you're assessing what's really working? Yeah, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, so if we had established, for example, the business owner is gonna be posting like depending, see, there's a method, there's a structure to it, but then there has to be some freedom in it. There has to be some leeway in it because you're figuring out what is resonating and what is still, building.
Mhm.
So there's that two sides of that discipline and that freedom with it. It's like, yeah, you decide like you're bucketing your content pillars into what type of content you're sharing, authority, educational, inspirational.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, we agreed to 2 to 3 posts a week. Does that feel, some business owners are like, I just want one a week, they're just, so it's figuring out that sweet spot for the business owner and being like, okay, we agreed on this. Now, how do you feel about this? How many conversations did you generate from these
Mm,
pieces?
mm,
Were people interested? How was the engagement like? So,
mm. Okay, that's good. That's good.
mhm.
And the emotional side of this question, in being seen and the willingness to put yourself out there, do you have any mindset or encouragement for someone that maybe not everybody likes that and they vocalize it and they get some, because I think that's the fear. I know that was for me. It's like, oh man, golly, people I don't know, that are going to be out there for what if I'm sleeping and I wake up and I have, rude comment on something and like whatever, right? Like I had all these thoughts of, oh man, if I really am seen fully here, what happens when people don't like it? Like, what do
For
I do?
sure. And I think that's something really common. And I like to talk about, I like because it's like people have to feel safe to be seen because it is a real fear. It is a real fear. And I mean, I've gone through it myself. It's being able, like even as a coach, helping them see the benefits from it, helping them. Obviously, like you're factoring in the fact that there's fear is a fact. Like I'm also like being straight up, like, hey, yeah, there's gonna be some challenging moments. You're gonna be tested, but when you're seeing the reward from it, I mean, I'm sure for you, like as a trainer and helping people with their bodies,
Mhm.
it's similar concept where you're like, yeah, it's tough, it's challenging, but I
Mm,
promise it's so worth it.
well said. Well
Yeah.
said. Yeah. And it's so funny because that's what connects the most with people, and like I love hearing people's real stuff. I'm like, don't just like show me the highlight reel. Show me when, your hair's sticking up and like your car broke down. Like I want to see a little bit of that. Not every day, right? Like
Right.
that's all you post. It's like, oh gosh, there's some good stuff in life, man. But seeing the vulnerability and the raw and the real, yeah, is huge. And that actually leads to another question that comes to mind on AI. Like how can
Right.
someone leverage AI as a tool, be it Chatty G, what I call it, or other platforms to help them with their message and, maybe scale content, or maybe their branding too is not just the content on social media. Maybe it's a keynote speech that they give, or it comes out in some other way in building their business. But what are some tips and strategies on using AI?
Yeah. I think the key word, I mean, what I've learned, the key words, there's two that come up to mind, which is balance
Hmm.
and sustainable.
Hmm.
So it's being able to feel like, in everything you just shared, like there has to be a sweet spot.
Hmm.
Even in building a brand, like you want to connect with people, which you have to share some vulnerable, like you have to be you,
Hmm.
but then you also want to be taken serious, knowing that you do business.
Hmm.
So that's where you're like striking that that sweet spot of like I'm
Hmm.
not only going to show you like my vulnerable side, but I am also going to show you that I know what I'm doing.
Hmm.
So that is like and with especially too I mean you could be using AI to enhance you, to
Hmm.
elevate you, but not all be feel AI. It's like again that partnership and that balance of like how do you find that sweet spot?
Hmm. Hmm. That's good.
And yeah,
And yeah, I guess when the sweet spot, is it because you're getting that feedback of like, wow, I see the authority you have and I feel connected to you as a human, that you're also human.
right,
Is
right.
that like,
Yeah. You're actively like get like I'm a huge fan of feedback. And
mm,
feedback that is actually going to, obviously there's opinions and then there's noise and then there's signal, basically. That's what I like to say. So
mm,
you got to be able to be open to what, there's some signal to how the audience is resonating. So that's where it's important to receive the right feedback in
mm,
order to get that balance. That's how you get that balance, to get the right feedback.
that's really good. I hear
Because some
that.
people are not open to it, and then they keep doing the same things without realizing that their audience is not really connecting.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, then you wonder, why isn't my content really connecting? Well, it's honestly just being open to feedback,
Mm, yeah.
how it's perceived. It's like, but you're testing it. We're putting something out there. It's
Mhm.
not like, I mean, it's not going to be perfect. Done is better than perfect, but you're openly being like, okay, this went well. This is what went well. These are the points that I can build on.
Mm,
Like I see it as a building thing. I don't see it as an I did something wrong. I see it as in like, okay, this is what's next. Like
mm.
the building blocks.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. I hear that. I hear that. Could you expand on that more? Because I feel like that visual, I love the foundation, love the house, but the building blocks of, I'll say this, kind of my own, I guess I'll say a strategy within my own brain and my own heart is like, even if this doesn't resonate, or even this isn't the most polished way to say this, or do X, Y, or Z, or whatever. Number one, I'm learning. It's data. Like I'm just going to learn by doing. And two, if I do share something that's, me being seen or risky and someone judges it, well, if it can help one person, even though maybe everyone else judges it, to me, my metric is that it was worth it. Of like, so that was just kind of a helpful thing. But with that being said, that was getting started. Now that I'm like a further, I'm a little over a year in. Okay. All right. So I'm being
Yes,
back
girl,
online.
yes.
Yeah, so a lot of people have been online for a long time, but I was offline forever. So I'm curious, yeah, like how can someone, take the messy, like figuring it out publicly kind of strategy, and then, they look at the feedback and they continue to get better. Like, yeah, I love that. Things are clicking for me, Emily. So thank you. It's got me
Yeah.
thinking because I'm there. Like I'm at that place where I'm like, okay, I've done enough that I'm like, what's resonating, what's not. And my original blueprint of approaching, say, just content specifically, isn't fully maybe working in some ways, and it's working maybe better over here. So, yeah, could you share more on that? I just love this concept to dive deeper of like building, like what building the peaks of that.
What I experience is like, yeah, I mean, the beginning process is gonna be messy. It's just I had to accept that in the first like year or so. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm cringe to
Oh,
the max.
oh. Yeah.
I'm cringe. I had
Yeah.
to accept that.
Yeah.
But I knew that I was gonna keep going of like I'm gonna keep getting better. Like this is a muscle.
Yeah.
And let me
Oh.
tell you, I've come a long way.
Do you look back on those old posts and you're like, oh, look at that girl. She had no idea.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You don't even know.
Oh man, what a crack
Like
up.
I'm like these people probably what is this girl doing? And what is she who does she think she is?
Oh man.
And in the beginning, I had a lot of pushback even for my family.
Mm,
Now they can see so much more. Now they're so much more like on board.
mm,
But I had to kind of already accept that where I'm like, they don't see my vision yet, and that's
mm.
okay. They're going to eventually see it.
That's good. Oh man. I'm just saying
Mhm.
that's good to everything because it is.
Yeah. And I mean, they're finally starting to, and it's like, okay, I knew I had to trust this.
Mm, yeah, that's it, like the entrepreneurial spirit, right? It's like,
Yeah. That's
hey,
when
that's when
you
you
know,
know.
right?
When you know, you know. For
Like if
sure.
you're gonna have to go through all these trials, all these challenges. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that.
Oh man, is it fair to say, like PSA, being cringe is a rite of passage? I don't know.
Amen to that. Amen to that. It's a prereq.
Oh, you accomplished, but did you get cringe first?
Oh, you want to get out there? You better be prepared to feel that cringe. Like feel it now before.
Oh, that's good. I love it. Okay, so kind of along those lines, but I'm really curious, like, doing the reps that you have and the research that you have and coaching and your own journey. Can you tell when you look at a brand or a message and like maybe intuitively know that they're just not aligned? There's a
hmm
disconnect. Like, do you have that when you're scrolling and going through of like, this feels misaligned?
Yeah, yeah. What I love to do, I always did so naturally, which is why I chose branding and marketing, well, branding mainly, but I was always really good at kind of shifting perspectives. So I was
Mm,
always able to be like, well, if I'm the client or if I'm the person on the other side, how does
mm,
it feel? How is that like I liked putting myself in those, different avatars basically. So
mm,
I'm always like, okay, well, if I'm not, I'm sharing this, how would I perceive this? Do I connect with this?
mm,
And I always came about it through that lens.
mm.
So it's important. Like I'm always like working on that muscle to put myself in the audience perspective.
Mm,
In the audience perspective, like how are they perceiving it? How are they taking it in?
mm,
So
mm,
I think that's so important
mhm,
because
mhm,
that's what's going to help with the connection piece.
mm.
Because
Uh,
even when I'm going through content, I intuitively I'm like, am I connecting to this? Like, what is she saying? It's like, what do they want me to know about this?
mm,
What do they want me to receive from this?
mm. Man, Emily, this is so timely too. I have to say, like, I have to say, that's really good. I, I think I'll just throw this out there because a lot of this podcast, like my heart for it, and with, what I know the listener to be is either they're an aspiring entrepreneur and they want to have that freedom. They're new in their journey, right? They're like going through this. And so they're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if I feel cringe, it's a rite of passage. It's okay, or whatever. Like Emily's been there and look at her now. So, or also established entrepreneurs that are maybe just figuring out the next season or just, always trying to pull, like treating a breadcrumb as a feast, just searching for that next thing. And then people too, lifestyle wise, that want to have a lifestyle business where it's like, I'm not just working 60 hours a week for 60 years. Like I could work 20, 25 hours a week, and like go leave and see the world or spend time with family. So in that of them taking something and applying it, I mean, you've already given so much. But I say all that because I'm in a season where I'm like, my approach we'll just call it a year. It's been over a year, but it's gotten me here, but I'm realizing it won't get me there. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm kind of done with the cringe suit. I'm ready to take it off. I'm ready to feel more aligned. But I didn't know, like, I don't know why. It's just like there's some level of disconnect. And Emily, you're breaking it down so well of just these certain things that are just clicking. And so I so appreciate you. And I'm so glad that you're a coach because I haven't been able to pinpoint it of like, I feel off in certain things that I'll post, but my default is like, do a lot of freaking reps, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, and as a trainer, it's like, but you don't want to do like, yes, do reps, but if you're squatting wrong, you actually don't want to keep doing reps. You want to take a step back and let's break down the body and do it, isolate some things and make some corrections if needed to go back into that compound movement. So anyways, I'm just vocalizing how I'm feeling right now in this moment because it
And I mean,
really, yeah.
the
Do you have
fact that
thoughts?
the fact that you're sharing like your experience as a trainer and everything, you can translate a lot of that wisdom into
Mm,
how you're presenting your brand.
mm,
That same concept. I mean, you're an expert in that as far as
mm,
like training and all that. I think
mhm,
that's translatable.
mm.
It's exactly that same example you shared. That's how it is.
Fascinating. I don't know why I never, whoa. Okay. Okay. So another question, this is maybe more my personality, but is it like when a brand goes out and they're like, hey, I know I've been cringe, or like, hey, I'm figuring this out. Like, does that totally debunk their authority, or do you think that would build more trust? Or maybe both, depending on the person
Right.
and how they do it.
Well, I think if you come about it openly, that you're building your brand. You're
Mm,
building your brand, like you're on the road towards authority. Whether
mm,
you've already established it or not, depending on the stage of the entrepreneur, like if they're beginning and they're like, I'm building my brand.
mhm,
Mhm.
mm. Yeah. So just like this is the path.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
doing that.
it's a decision.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Because I'm not gonna lie, it's challenging if you're like actively being like I'm building this brand and I already know people are going to challenge it. It's like
Mhm.
you're taking all that in,
Mm,
but
mm.
you're going that direction.
Gosh darn it. Darn tootin' head there. Oh, okay. This is I'm gonna listen back to this and take some notes. That's really, really powerful. The question, so now when it comes to a brand, if we separate now from online, like social media, maybe acting like for a second it doesn't exist, which is a crazy thought. And now you're embodying your brand at a barbecue on a hot summer day with people, right? You're walking in the grocery store, you're getting ready with yourself in the morning. Like, what are some other things that someone can think about in their overall brand, their presence to the
Right.
world, but just in how they live their lives?
Right, yeah. Well, I usually I like to talk about the misconceptions about branding.
Mm,
Because I think it's important to talk about it because there is certain perceptions about it, and I think that will block certain things sometimes. People think it could like you're just self-promoting yourself, or it's all
mm,
vanity, or you're obsessed with yourself, like things like that. But I
mm,
mean, having a brand is a way. I personally truly believe that it's a way to serve people to the best of your ability.
mm,
It's Yeah, so that people know who you are and what you do, and if there's the people that are right for you are going to show up in your life.
mm,
So I just share about that. Like, I never came in with wanting to be an influencer or wanting to be famous or any of that. Like, it wasn't. That's not the intention that I came in, and I came with a whole different lens of branding. I
mm,
came in with like, no, like know what your legacy is. Like, this is what's going to help you be known for something. So I was actively debunking these things where I'm like, it's just not what it is. So I felt passionate about it because I don't do well in like feeling when I'm under pressure in the sense of like really being, I don't like, I actually kind of shut off a little when I feel like I have to perform or I don't. So I was like, no, I'm building the brand so that I can be free. So I can give myself permission to be like, this is who
mm,
I am, take it or leave it. You might not like me, but that's cool.
mm. Wow. I love that you're doing this work.
hmm
This is, you can tell you're in your lane. Like you are in your lane. And because this is really gets the wheels turning and you simplify it so well too, right? Like, yeah, you have a lot of practical things to do and also you embody just the mindset and the heart set, if you will, around it. So, man, okay, another question is for someone that's in the moment where they are feeling stuck and or disconnected, what would you say is like a practical first step
hmm
to align their brand with their purpose?
Yeah. Well, I think it goes back full circle. Like, even what kept me going in the very beginning was for me the word of God.
Mm,
But overall, like, I love words. I love writing. This is why I brand strategy. Like language to me is I'm something I'm really passionate about because words shape who you are and words carry energy and you can keep elevating those words. So that's why I specialize in messaging. I specialize in your message
Mm,
in getting that and really synthesizing it and getting it really clear. So
mm,
whenever I'm stuck, whenever I'm like, oh, words, like write, like stream of consciousness, like get your notebook out, get it
mm,
off. It doesn't, you can rip it away, you can throw it away, but get it off your chest. And that's where things start like, okay, oh, I didn't know I had all that in me, you know?
mm. Yeah, I love it. Love me a good journal dump.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I can't live without it. Like
No.
I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs like they realize the power of writing. The power of the pen, that's what they call it, the power of the pen.
Ooh, power of the pen. Yes, let's go. I'm all on that board. Like that is like a, I don't know, a soothing thing as much as it is a strategy thing. So
Yeah.
yeah. Wow. Emily, this is amazing. I could ask you another 20 million questions. Like this is so good, like, girlfriend. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So if someone wants to come find you and work with you, connect with you, learn more, where do they go?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm truly grateful for you. And if anyone resonates with this message or would like to learn more, I'm on Instagram mainly. My website is on my Instagram. I also use Facebook and LinkedIn. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. And can you share your handle? And we'll link it below as well.
Yeah. So underscore Emily underscore Rosales.
Oh, love it. And
Emily.
Simply Me Coaching is your
Yeah,
coaching
Simply
business.
Me.
Yes.
Yeah. And the brand is Simply Me, which is the whole concept of, I'm Simply Me and you're simply like if you say you're Simply Me, you are who you are.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, owning it. I love it. I love it. Okay, wow. Yes, I'm gonna listen back to this. This is so powerful. I do have a few questions for you that I like to ask every guest. So just whatever comes to mind, no wrong answer. I'm just always curious about this with people. Question number one, what is your favorite travel destination and why?
I love that. I mean, ideally, I want to travel more, but the first thing I think about is Cancun. Because I don't travel often.
Yeah.
I've traveled very minimal, like Mexico, New York, and like a couple places around the US. But I think it's amazing that you're traveling, that you're
Yeah.
out there. It's really inspiring. So I
Yeah.
think about Cancun only because like my family, we all used to like vacation there and we've gone several times. So yeah, I just have core memories there. And
Mm, that's really, really beautiful. The thing with and travel, don't get me wrong, obviously I do it full time now, but who you travel with, like where
yeah.
you go, I will say to this day, like my best travel memories are, I have I've traveled solo enough, I have a few, but it's with people. So I love that. I love that you're like, it's with the people in
Right.
Cancun. Yeah,
It's
that's
so true. Yeah, it is who you go with, right?
yeah, yeah. One of your favorite books or podcasts that you listen to.
Yeah, I'm such a simple person. It's like, like I'll just like my book. It's like I don't, I kind of am a low key Jesus freak. So
Hey, I'm here for it. Whoever listens, believe what you believe, love you.
yeah,
That's just
yeah.
you. I love it.
I
So
try
yeah.
and like be conservative about it, but I'm like I don't know, I get excited. Bible is huge
Mm,
for me.
I feel that. That's
Mhm.
beautiful. Good for you, girl. You're simply you.
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
mean, I own it.
That's fantastic. What is the last thing that made you laugh so hard that you cried?
Oh wow. It's so I think recently I saw a meme on Instagram. I guess it was like a news report that it was I guess there was her dad went missing. I mean, this is her dad, but I guess she drew like they didn't have a picture of the dad. I think I don't know if it was real. Like I think it was supposed to, but the little girl drew like a character of her dad, but the character looked really funny, like kind of had like two little hair, like hair buns on this side, and he was like completely bald here. But the actual character that she drew was really, really funny, like the what like the image of her dad, and then later it's like, oh, we have reports of dad like that it was found, and then they showed the picture like hand in hand. It was just like so funny what the little girl had drawn and what the dad looked like. And then the reporters were like on the ground laughing at like the comparison of the two images. I just
Oh
you kind of
man.
have to see it. It's hilarious. You
Yeah.
have to like see it to be like, oh my gosh, this is funny.
That's so endearing too, as a little kid. Like, this is my dad.
Yeah.
Find him, okay?
But the image is hilarious. And I'm like,
Oh.
did this really happen? Or did they like,
Is this
yeah,
real life? I don't know.
yeah.
That's funny. Okay, last question. And I'm going to set the stage for this one. If you imagine that you have a stage where the entire world is listening, and you have the opportunity to give a speech and a message that would make the most change in their world from your perspective, what would that message be?
Yeah. And it's a very simple message, but it's really profound to the core because I think that for most people in the world, we're so trained to live for others, to do everything for others. Like, I just want to do this for them. They are my why, they are my reason, which makes so much sense. But
Mm.
ultimately, you can't serve them, you can't serve from an empty cup, but most people are leading from that angle of just like, oh, it's not about me, like very self like denying basically.
Mm.
And I went through that like self-denying process for most of my life, and I ended up really exhausted, very burnt out, putting everyone first. And I found out that some people think it's selfish, but I really do feel that self-love is the answer. Like, if you can really focus on bringing yourself the love that you needed, you don't have to go look for it in other areas. Like that, like such a deep focus on your own love, and everything will stem from that.
Mm. Boom.
Yeah.
Hits home. Hits home. I feel
Yeah.
that. I feel that. Emily, you are such a beautiful world changer, girlfriend. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for 4 years ago leaning in to do the hard thing and owning your vision deep in your heart and your soul, despite maybe what others thought or said around you, or the lack of, say, proof that it would work out around you, and you just leaned into your faith. Like, I have so much admiration and respect for you, and I really, really appreciate your time. I know this had to help so many people. So thank you, my dear. I appreciate
This
you.
was beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, you got it. And everyone go follow Emily, okay? Connect with her, all
Yeah.
right? She's the real deal. So
Thank
awesome. Well, thanks, my dear. Thanks, everyone. Have a beautiful,
you.
blessed day. All right. Bye-bye.